Our youngest son, Keli, is severely autistic and nonverbal. According to doctors, his sight is normal, and yet he seems to have problems with his vision. We don't know how much he understands. His communication is so limited. We were an ordinary family, both with good jobs, leading comfortable lives with our two wonderful boys, Eric and Una. But when Keli was born, everything changed. Keli doesn't have normal body movement, and his body awareness seems to be limited. It's common among autistic children to be very sensitive to touch. With Keli, his sensitivity is not as severe now as it was when he was younger. It's the most agonizing frustration not to be able to hold your child when something's wrong with them. We tried a whole variety of recommended treatments that unfortunately produced very little result. The only therapy that has been of some use is called applied behavioral analysis, but not to the degree that we had hoped for. It's been hard to come to terms with the fact that Keli may never be self-reliant or be able to express himself normally. Keli was lucky to find a wonderful school. The people there are marvelous. They've done everything they can to make life easier for him. But the program for him is mainly about teaching basic skills like eating and dressing. Keli isn't taught regular subjects like reading or math.
Jawel. Äppla, sa vi.
Öppna. Ja. Eller. Pynt. Så.
I feel I've done everything possible to help my son. I've decided to make a film that might give some hope and understanding to others, especially those who are just starting to face what I went through with Keli. I want to meet the most eminent and skilled experts on autism to get a better understanding of this most mysterious and complex condition. Autism, my sunshine boy. I started by visiting one of the most famous autistic individuals in the world, who has written many books on the subject. At the age of 4, she was completely nonverbal and considered mentally retarded. Her parents were advised to put her in an institution, but her mother would not accept this. It was discovered later that Temple has far above average intelligence. Temple Grandin overcame her autism and is now a professor of animal sciences at the University of Colorado.
Autism is a disorder of the interconnections between brain systems. The brain kind of has like 3 main parts. Down in the base, you've got all the primitive old systems, the emotions center, the amygdala, you got all the life support stuff that makes you breathe, all that kind of stuff. Then you've got around the top of the brain, you've got the gray matter, that's the processors. Then in between that, you got a giant big layer, it's like that thick, of white matter. And what white matter is, it's the cables that interconnect all the different parts of the brain together. So like a half of the brain consists of interconnecting cables that wire up all the massively interconnected parts. And that's the thing that's got the disorder in autism. But it's variable, you know, from a lot of stuff that's misconnected to maybe you have a genius Asperger, or you have someone like Einstein, genius scientist, who would be diagnosed autistic today, and his math and graphics design department got wired together with 100 internet connections. Then the social things tend to be the things that tend to not get wired. There's some people that appear completely low functioning that can't talk, probably never will talk, but they can learn to read and they can learn to type. Because you see, reading and typing is on a different brain circuit than talking is.
The Mullimans live in Wisconsin with their daughter and 3 autistic sons. In general, 1 out of every 150 newborn is considered to be autistic, but autism is 4 times more common among boys than girls.
Hi there.
My name's Margret.
Hey, nice to meet you,
Pleased
Becky.
to see you.
Yes, you too. Come on in. This is my mother, Nancy, and our baby girl, Lily. This is Maddox, our 2-year-old, Gavin, our 3-year-old, Clay, who is 4, and my dad, Gary. My parents live not too far away, and they help us quite a bit. My husband, Abe, who is at work right now and couldn't be here today, and myself and Clay are going to Michigan tomorrow to meet Dr. Kathy Lord. She is going to do some autism testing on Clay because he does not have an autistic diagnosis yet. Maddox and Gavin do. And we're hoping that she can give him the diagnosis just because you get a lot more services when you have the diagnosis as far as therapies and that kind of thing.
What's a cheese, a cheese?
Watching them and comparing to other kids I have seen, I would say they all are high functioning, is what my opinion would be. I would say out of the 3, Clay is probably the lowest functioning. And he has not really even had a diagnosis yet because every doctor gives him a PDD diagnosis. He has never had the actual autism diagnosis he and Gavin have.
I went along with the Mulliman family to see Dr. Catherine Lord, who would assess Clayton, their eldest son, and diagnose his autism.
Clay, can you put a tree behind your back? Put an apple tree behind your back. Where's the little house go?
Where's the little house?
Where does it go?
Where's the little houses?
I see it. I see the little house. Yep, you do too.
I see the little house.
You do. Good for you.
Helicopter.
Yeah, where's the helicopter go? Where does it go?
I forgot them. I forgot.
Look, Clay. Does it go with the car? Or the airplane?
The airplane.
Yes, because they both fly, huh? The helicopter flies and the airplane flies. Good job. Let's find it. Oh, here you go. Here's a shape. Where's that go?
A square always is the same shape.
Right, but where does it go? It might be the same other way. Look. Which one does it go with?
A square.
Yeah, where does it go?
It's not a square.
Right. It's a square, but it's all full.
We take that a day at a time. There's days where I say I want to just hide. You know, there are days where I say I just want to take these kids and go somewhere and hide and crawl in a hole. But you can't. You can't do that because these kids need to be in the world. They need other kids around and other people around them because that's going to help them. You get angry and you cry, but the kids, you know, you can't do that in front of them. And you know, Abe's stronger than I am. You just got to do what you got to do.
He's an amazing kid. I can see what the puzzle is, I think, because there's some things that he's so good at and many things that we don't usually see kids with autism being good at. And then there's some things that are so hard. He's clearly got skills that are higher than mental retardation, and technically you're not supposed to use a diagnosis of mental retardation if you've got not just a little splinter skill, but he's got a whole range of language skills that are higher than that.
No, as far as on the spectrum, we never really, even with Gavin and Maddox, I guess I walked away not really knowing how severe she thought they were either. What do you feel about Clay?
Yeah. I think on the spectrum, Clayton is pretty mild. I mean, I would say this is autism, but I would also say that his social directedness is really good.
Okay.
You know, and I think the fact that he uses language socially is also a real strength.
One other question too: do you think there'll ever be a cure for autism?
I don't know. You know, I mean, I sometimes when I heard kids with Rett syndrome, that the proteins in like one particular part of these mice.
I don't know what.
Mice we have Clay. We're off like just in one little time period, and that seemed to cause Rett's, which is just a much more awful thing than autism. And that made me think, maybe there will be a cure if it's just the protein at one time. If we can figure that out, maybe somebody will come up with something where we can run in and say, drink this.
Yeah, right. It's probably not in our day.
I don't know. I mean, mostly developmental disorders get prevented more than cured.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's such a...
Okay, but you don't see anything, as far as the steps to get closer, getting any farther along down the road?
I think they're baby steps.
I have one more quick question. Okay. How worried should we be about Lily?
I think it's very hopeful that it won't happen.
Really?
It's possible.
Really? I mean, but you really say it's that different?
Yeah, it is that different. The frequency is much more common in boys than girls.
At this point, we don't know what causes autism. So by finding the genes, we'll know something about the actual molecules or biology that are causing autism. Well, we believe that about 20% of cases of autism are caused by a single gene. So an example of that would be Fragile X syndrome. However, about 80% of cases are caused by inheriting several genes. We think that you would need maybe between 5 or even as many as 20 of these autism susceptibility genes to then be at risk for autism.
We carried out a survey of families who are members of the National Autistic Society in the UK, almost 1,000 families, and looked at paternal occupation and also the occupations of grandfathers of children with autism. What we found was that there was an increased proportion of engineers amongst the fathers and the grandfathers of children with autism. So engineering, when you think about it, is all about understanding systems, whatever kind of engineer you are, a mechanical engineer or a chemical engineer. But so one possibility is that the parents and indeed the grandparents of children with autism may have a talent at understanding systems, that what we see in earlier generations isn't necessarily autism, but it's seeing some of the positive sides of autistic traits, which involves a very good attention to detail, being able to recognize patterns and understanding how things work.
It's very likely that autism is caused by a combination of both genetic and environmental factors. Toxins in the environment, viral factors, dietary factors, and all of these things are being investigated currently by many different scientists around the world. Now, we're also getting so much better at being able to diagnose children using behavioral observations. And so we're able now to assess infants at risk for autism as young as 6 to 12 months of age. We're developing early interventions that are appropriate for 8-month-old babies, 12-month-old babies. And we hope that we'll someday be able to prevent many cases of autism, either through these behavioral interventions or through medicines that are developed when we understand the biology.
In his second year, Keli was diagnosed as mentally retarded. He wasn't diagnosed autistic until the age of 4. During the first 3 years of his life, he was very irritable and cried constantly day and night. He frequently suffered from seizures and was always in the hospital. We never understood what was wrong with our son. The doctors didn't know what to do. It was only by chance they subsequently discovered that Keli's irritation and illness was caused by a reflux disease. He was given medication and started to sleep normally. It made a huge difference to all of us. It's hard to describe what years of sleep deprivation can do to you. The stress puts a great strain on the whole family. It's not surprising that the divorce rate among parents with autistic children is as high as 80%.
We have 5 children. We have Austin, who's 12, and he has autism, nonverbal. We have Jackson, who's 11, and he is, lower functioning also. And then Dakota, who's 8, and they're all 3 diagnosed with autism. And then we have the twin girls, Molly and Claire, who are 6, and they're typical developing daughters. And we've been married for
15 years. How old was Jackson when we saw the program on TV? A couple months old?
3 months old.
3 months old.
Austin was 2 years and 2 months. It was called Miracle Babies, and it was showing this little boy on there on the TV. They said the little boy had autism. And we're watching this, and I'm like, come here, what do you want? My heart just starts racing. And I just burst into tears, and I was like, that's it, that's what he has autism. And the next day, I went to the library, and I checked out every book they had on autism. And I would get maybe a chapter into it, and I knew that's what he had. And I was just, what does this mean for him? What does this mean for his future, for the rest of his life? Now what? What is autism? How do you help him? Is there anything we can do for it? And you read everything, and it's like lifelong disability, and you think, this is forever? He's going to have this for life? He's never going to get over it?
For us, it was a turning point in our life and the beginning of trying to accept that things were not going to be as we thought they were, and even in the very beginning, not even understanding completely what that meant. And not, and trying to grasp the concept that you can't fix it.
This is our therapy schedule, and this has a list of all of our therapists that come every day, and each boy has a different therapist. So there's 8 that cover all, 3 boys. I get every room ready, for the therapist to come, and then look on the schedule to see who's going to knock on the door.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Jackson.
Did you have a good day at school?
Good day, school.
Yeah?
Good day, school today.
You did a good job?
Good day, school today.
Good.
Daddy?
What, Jackson?
Want a soda? You have one soda. You want some Pepsi?
Okay, everybody.
I need sunglasses, huh?
Mommy, where's Daddy's?
Back there behind us, honey.
We'll go to the animals.
Yes, we're gonna go to the zoo and see the animals on Saturday.
Can we ask the family? We'll go to the animals.
Yes, we're gonna.
We'll go to the animals.
Yes, we're gonna go to the zoo and see animals. I have a handicap sticker in my car. When the kids were younger, I had went to the mall one day and I took all the kids in my triple stroller. And I went into the picture place and I got there and this man had followed us in. And he goes, and he walks up behind me and he goes, "You don't look very handicapped for having parked in that spot." And I looked at him and I turned around, I go, "Are you kidding me? We don't look handicapped enough to park in the handicap parking?" I go, "Do you know what autism is? Do you have any clue what autism is?" And he turned around and walked out and I chased him down the mall. And I was like, "Do you have any idea what autism is? It's a neurological brain disorder." And I just went crazy on him and I followed him all the way back down the mall. And I was like, "Are you discriminating against us because we're handicapped and we're not in a wheelchair?"
We'll go to the animals.
You're going to do animals?
Yes,
On Saturday, not today. On Saturday we're going to the zoo.
I think the social stuff's important, but people are getting so hung up on the social stuff, they totally have forgotten about the sensory things that are just so debilitating and can make life just impossible. Every child's different. These sensory problems range from very mild to where there is slight annoyance to so debilitating that they can't tolerate, a big department store or a restaurant. It's very variable. Some will have a lot of hearing sensitivity problems, others will have a lot of visual problems, others will have touch problems. It's extremely, extremely variable. If a kid goes like this, obviously he's got sound sensitivity. I can't believe it when someone says, "Well, what does it mean when the kid does that?" Well, it hurts his ears. Okay, now how do you know that the child's got visual problems? Okay, they'll be hesitant about going down the stairs.
Okay, like
They also
mine.
tend to do a lot of things like this. They'll also tend to look out the corner of their eye because they can see better. And that's a tip-off that you may have visual processing problems.
The Mind Institute at the University of California is a world leader in autism research. It was established by 4 families with autistic children.
This disorder, you have to understand, autism is
Compared to something like Alzheimer's disease or Huntington's disease or Parkinson's disease, this disorder is much more complicated. So this is a picture of the brain. This is an MRI, and this part here is the amygdala. The amygdala in boys with autism actually grows too fast. So when the brain's developing, there's certain genes that turn on and turn off. There's certain factors that regulate how many neurons are produced. You can imagine, there's probably 100 billion neurons in the brain, and it starts off with just a few in the very primitive fetal brain, and they have to double and double and double and double, and they get to a point where they have the adult number of neurons. And in fact, we grow too many neurons to start off with, and some of them die. There's almost a Darwinian process that takes place, and the neurons that survive are the ones that establish the correct connections. The amygdala is involved in fear, so this is one of the parts of the brain that we think actually, when you feel panicked or your son feels like he's very fearful, it's because something is triggering the amygdala, and the amygdala gives us that sensation of fear. Normally it works when you're looking at things like a snake or something that's dangerous for you.
Autistic children often suffer from severe sensory problems. Their minds have trouble assimilating and processing several sensations at once. They may be unable to see and hear simultaneously, and because of this, they get only a fractional idea of their surroundings. This creates chaos and fear, and therefore they often avoid new situations and surroundings. It was only recently that I discovered Keli depends almost entirely on his hearing to understand his environment. In a situation that calls for seeing and a coordination of senses, he easily runs into trouble.
I think one of the tragedies in autism right now is how little of what we know really ends up helping families. We know so much about how to help children with autism, and so few children and families have access to treatments that are established, can be delivered, are published, and ought to be available.
In Sacramento, California, I found an excellent school for autistic children that uses applied behavioral analysis, or ABA as it's known. The treatment is based on behavioral psychology and is scientifically proven to be effective. Experts agree that treatment at the earliest possible stage is crucial. It can limit the effects of autism and provide the children with the possibility of a life of their own.
A big question around the world is, what should we do with autistic kids? Should we put them in with typically developing kids? And a lot of people say, yes, let's mainstream them. And while it is the case that, say, a child with Down syndrome can benefit from mainstreaming, because children with Down syndrome still imitate, but our children who don't imitate are just going to be isolated in a typically developing class. Now, once we get them to the point where they do some imitating, yes, we want to mainstream them. But until then, they need their own special classes. If the child was 2, 3, or 4 and they were entering our school, we could tell you for certain that there'll be progress, that there'll be advancement. We could also tell you that the probability of them going into public schools with their same age peers and progressing would be about 40%. It's not a high probability, unfortunately, and it may be that the neurological damage that we call autism may have its limits as to what it can do.
The type of the learning environment that needs to be created for your child to learn is so crucial. We have 10 classrooms, and we service children anywhere between the ages of 0 to 18 years of age. In the infant toddler program, what we emphasize on opportunities for social interaction, interactive play, opportunities to respond and request spontaneously. So we have a lot of group activities integrated in with the program, with also providing one-to-one for every child. So for every child that's in the program, they have one technician that works with them. When the children enter at this age, even though their language is severely impaired, they don't interact a lot with their parents. They have very limited play skills. The point is they're not absent.
It's great here, and it helped me to communicate with my daughter, because when she came here, there was no communication or interaction. but now there's good interaction and lots of eye contact.
He's been here about 3.5 months, and we got him in pretty early. We got him in very young. He was diagnosed young, and we got him in young, and I think that's been the key. His progress has been amazing.
My son Jacob was in the program for just about 1.5 years, and he just recently graduated to a classroom here at the school. He's a completely new child. I noticed between 12 and 18 months, he just started breaking down all the time as far as tantrum, and then through the program, I mean, honestly, we have another little boy. He will tell us what he wants, what he needs, what he wants to do, what he wants to play with.
Was he non-verbal when he started the program?
Completely non-verbal. He is fully verbal. I mean, now he can, like I was saying, just completely like verbally express what he is wanting to do, and as far as just being able to meet his needs. I mean, previously I couldn't figure out if he was hungry, thirsty, nothing. He had no gestures, basically his only form of communication was just to be either tantruming or silent. We really had no in between.
Show me too.
Nice job. Nice listening.
Ariana has actually learned how to laugh since she's been here, and just to hear her laugh just brings, joy to my heart.
1, 2, 3. More what? Swing.
What color?
That's brown fish, that's right. What about this one? Yellow! What color is this?
Orange.
What color is this?
Black.
What color is this?
Pink.
Danny, which animal do you want?
Children with autism often have problems imitating actions, and imitation is crucial in early learning. At the ABC school, the emphasis is very much on imitating.
Go ahead, everybody write your name.
Who's the goat? Yay! Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O. With a moo here and a moo there.
There are too few children in the world lucky enough to receive such systematic treatment, and the results speak for themselves. Over 40% of ABC children are admitted to regular public schools with same-age peers after treatment there. It was painful for me to think that if Keli had been admitted to such a school at the age of 2, it could have made a real difference. But maybe it's not too late. The ABC school has given me hope that Keli might be able to achieve some progress, if only we had such a school back home in Iceland.
Some children are mono-channel. They're not able to see and hear at the same time. I'm a visual thinker, where Tito, on the other hand, was an absolute total auditory learner. Maybe your son, can learn auditory things as long as he's calm. When they're tired or when there's a lot of background noise, then maybe his ears are going to be giving him garbled information. But usually, one sense will work better than the other. So it's the ones where the visual system is messed up tend to be auditory learners, and the ones where the auditory system is more messed up going to tend to be visual learners.
The nature and frequency of autism is the same all over the world. Parents everywhere are puzzled by the phenomenon. At a conference on autism research in Seattle, I met Portia Iverson, author of the book, Strange Son. She told me how under the guidance of Soma Mukhopadhyay, an Indian teacher, her autistic non-verbal son Dove had amazingly learnt to express himself with the aid of a keyboard. Portia flew Soma and her autistic son Tito to the United States. Tito has described his autism as total chaos. When the environment is overwhelming, he tries to screen out all stimuli to cope with it. He does this by covering his ears, focusing on an object near him and avoiding eye contact. It's common among the autistic to make self-stimulating movements, such as repetitive movements of the hands, to calm an overstimulated nervous system.
Come here.
When Tito was a small boy, doctors told Soma that he was mentally retarded and should be put into an institution. She refused and developed a technique that is called the rapid prompting method. She taught her son to express himself using a letterboard, and subsequently he learned to write and type. When explaining RPM, Soma refers to neuroscience and Jean Piaget's theory of 4 developmental stages. Now Tito is a poet and a writer with an IQ of 185. He has written 4 books that have sold well. One day he hopes to be financially independent. Now, mother and son can even talk to each other.
I was it? Dreaming. Oh, okay. That's a good thing to do. Dreaming of myself, of snow.
I was thrilled to meet with Portia and Dove and see him express himself.
It was a shock when he began to communicate. He was 9 years old. We really didn't know him because he couldn't really nod his head, he couldn't gesture, he couldn't speak, he couldn't write, he couldn't type. Most parents of a nonverbal kid would give anything to have one sentence from their child. You know, my husband used to always say, I'd just give anything in the world to know what he's thinking just once.
You grew up in the middle of a wealthy society and an educated society, and you assume that people are doing things for 6 children. But in fact, adults raise money and do medical research on diseases that adults get. If it's breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, even Alzheimer's, they get scared that they're going to get it or they have it. They raise money, they do the research in it. Children don't raise any money. They don't vote. They don't go to Washington. So by and large, nobody does that much for children's diseases.
Portia Iverson and her husband Jonathan Shestak are the founders of the autism advocacy organization Cure Autism Now. They have raised a considerable amount of money for autism research.
Hello. I cannot believe that I am seeing 10,000 of you here today. It is so amazing.
1,252,470. That is awesome.
I asked Dove if he thought other nonverbal children could ever learn to express themselves using a keyboard like this.
Good. And space. Good. And. Good. And. Punctuation.
I think the kids can get it.
I think the kids can get it. Something I think is very important is always sit on the right side and use the right hand. Okay. Because the right hand, nervous system is connected to the left hemisphere, right? But the left hemisphere and the right hand, the whole right half of the body are connected. And the left hemisphere is the center for language.
Mm-hmm. He's not stimming at all.
Right. Well, I know. Look at Dove. He's so mature. He gets a hold of himself. He crosses his arms and legs and really has a lot of self-control. He didn't used to, but he does now. It's amazing. It's good to assume that children have normal intelligence and speak to them as if they have normal intelligence and ask them questions and explain what's going on. Soma worked with Dove 6 times for 30 minutes before he started. Certain things about it are very gradual. The ability to communicate is gradual. You're making up for years. The ability to learn to point, you know, the kids want to tell you something. I mean, they want to be able to show you that they know something. And so once they see how to do it, they start going pretty quickly. It doesn't take forever. And once they can do that, then it moves ahead very quickly.
But Dove then knew the alphabet.
Yes, and he knew how to read.
But did you know that?
No, I had no idea. You know, if you have normal intelligence and you see things, you see signs, you hear people talking, you know, maybe there's a book, you know, and you get exposed and you can learn. Dove started to communicate at 9. If your brain has been growing and developing, it's easy when I say to you you know, what's 2 and 2? 4. That's easy. If I say, how was your day? I don't have all those years of knowing how to communicate. This is much harder.
So he has to learn that also.
That is what all this is leading towards. So this is something people a lot of times have a hard time understanding, that you could have language but not be able to communicate. But you know, we see it all the time with autistic children who talk. They speak and they can't use their speech to communicate.
Before you started this communication method, how old did you think his mentality?
I just didn't know. I just didn't know.
But did you assume something, or?
Not really. Dove had no way of telling us anything, and I always hoped he was understanding, but I didn't really know.
And what other treatment had you tried with Dove before this one?
Applied behavioral analysis and picture exchange system, DIR, which is the Greenspan method. Those are just a few, but many different things, and speech therapy and occupational therapy and sensory integration therapy, all kinds of things. And now I started a little special school for him because I couldn't find a school that could accommodate him and his typing and allow him to get a good education. And plus, it's much more interesting, I would say. Don't you think, Dove? It's much more interesting to be learning interesting stuff at school instead of, this little repetitive, baby stuff. Now he's going into 9th grade in fall. They study history, they study science, they study math, current events, the holidays, all kinds of things.
You want to go up to the treehouse? No. Do you ever go to the treehouse? Why? Are you afraid to climb? Rhoda goes there all the time. Give me one hand. You can play with beads with one hand. Give me one. Duh. You like my beard, don't you? It's itchy.
Okay. Dove, what do you think, and Gabby, the candidates are probably talking about for this election? One main issue that is happening now in the world. What is actually the most pressing issue
Go.
that the candidates are most likely debating about?
War.
Yep. Yep, good job.
Wait for Gabby,
Good
wait
job.
for Gabby.
Gabby. The war, where, Dovey?
Where's the war? Are you looking?
Good job.
Finish. Get the last word. Look.
Here's Gabby have to say.
Certain amount of self-stimulation and repetitive behavior calms them down. But if I had been allowed to do repetitive behavior, for 8 hours a day, the brain isn't going to develop. One of the reasons why early treatment's so important is if you let the kid just stim all day, the brain shuts out learning. When I used to dribble sand through my hands, it was like taking a drug. I could totally turn off my ears, but I didn't learn anything.
It was fascinating for me to see how much Dove resembled Keli in every way. To see Dove express himself was an unbelievable experience that gave me hope that Keli could possibly learn this as well. It's wonderful to see how many treatments there are to minimize the effects of autism. However, it's a sad fact that very few children are offered the chance to get those treatments.
Sometimes the child needs to stim and do some repetitive motion to calm down, but you can't let them do that all day. And when you work with them, I think it helps some brain circuits to get hooked back up, because the research and the practical experience is very, very clear. Young children, where they get many, many hours of intensive one-to-one teaching, do a whole lot better than the young children that do not get this intensive one-to-one teaching.
I decided to meet Soma, the remarkable Indian woman who had achieved the impossible. teaching non-verbal children, once written off by society, to express themselves.
It all began to understand my son Tito, because no one was giving the right answer to what exactly was wrong with him, because when they said that he's in his own world, I couldn't believe, because he was not exactly in his own world. He was pretty much, when I was opening a chocolate wrapper, he was pretty much in my world. So I started reading these books to figure out, like, what is that is clicking with him when he's twiddling with a pencil and I'm using the pencil to do something else? Why is he finding this interesting and not me? And trying to find out, understand him and his brain better, so that I could do something about it, because I knew that learning was taking place somewhere, but instead of learning taking place in this direction, it was taking place in a tangential direction. So that is what made me read the books on neuroscience and help my son. And once I came to the United States, I got an opportunity to help other children also. Come. You have different choices. First choices, do you want to talk about science, S-C-I-E-N-C-E, science, or do you want to talk about geography, G-E-O-G-R-A-P-H-Y, geography? What would you like to talk about? Geography would be good. And what is geography? Geography is learning about places, or do you think geography is learning about how to play? What do you think geography is? Hold that. Learning about places, yes. That's a very interesting sound. Learning about places. Let's say. Do you want to talk about how rivers are formed? Or do you want to talk about V-A-L-L-E-Y-S, valleys? What do you want to talk about? Rivers? Okay, let's spell rivers. We're going to first spell river. R, good. No, don't play with it properly. I, good, keep going. Move your elbows. V, good, keep going. E, good, good. R, river. If I ask you, you're feeling bad? You're feeling sad? Are you feeling sad? Or are you feeling scared? S-C-A-R-E-D, scared. What are you feeling? Let's say. Are you feeling sad or scared suddenly? Sad? Oh, let's talk about it. We'll talk about the river after we get that done. Let's see, what can make us sad? When we are thinking about something, something to play with, we feel sad. Or when we are thinking about something, a lost toy, we feel sad. We feel sad when we think about a lost toy. Oh, okay. What do we do when we feel sad? What do people do when they feel sad? They see, okay? See, and doesn't make any sense. On that, see, R, that makes sense. Why cry? Yes, they cry when they feel sad. And see, the thing is that despite having autism, despite being nonverbal, they can learn. So what we have to do, we try over there is try to find what they can learn, and try to, like, what is there intact. Not, okay, oh, this is the behavior he can't learn, and then they are all learning. And then prepare them so that one day they can sit for the GED tests and other things, so that one day they can do something with their lives.
We would go 3 days at a time with no sleep at all. And it breaks your mind to go without sleep.
He had such sensory issues. I guess it was painful, I guess. I don't know. It's all a mystery. I mean, I don't really know how it works.
But yeah,
I've tried a little bit of everything, but this is by far the best.
In what way?
Because it allows him to express himself, for one thing.
I use rapid prompting method to teach the children education, and through education how best they can communicate. If we don't have any education as a background, the content of our talk would be very limited. We wouldn't be able to talk as our potentials would allow us to talk. And that is why I cultivate people's minds, the children and adults with autism, through knowledge, so that one day they can use that knowledge to communicate, and communicate well and participate in society, not stay isolated in society.
I would say that for people who are auditory, it's a lifeline, because most of the modes of response and most of the methods out there are more geared toward people who are visual. And so for people who are auditory or maybe don't have good fine motor skills, it gives them a way to start. My daughter Madison, who's 11, is autistic. We had tried just about every therapy that is out there, and she remained nonverbal, and she was considered the lowest functioning child in her verbal behavior classroom. Now, when we first met Soma, Madison responded to her right away and was able to basically do grade level work with her. You know, Soma was the one who brought her an appropriate mode of response, so she was able to really respond for the first time ever.
Okay, now you tell me one good thing about yourself. One good thing about yourself. Keep going. V, okay? Keep going. V, come on. If you close your eyes, you won't get it. Come on. Open your eyes and show it. V, E, R, okay? Y. Very, okay? S, M, okay? A, R, okay? Yeah, S, M, A, R. Come on. Very smart, okay? Very smart. S, M, A, R, T. What about your good point? Okay? C, T, I, O, and quick action. So he takes actions very quickly. So, quick action. Okay? Now, your good point. Let me see. What is your good point? Let me see. Okay? N, okay? O, T naught, okay? M, okay? M, U, good. M, U, C, H, not much? No, I think you have, I think you don't have to feel bad, not much. Not much. You are good in math, then you are funny. Keep going. Which is good point. S, T, O, good. C, K, stock. Oh, Mitch is a stockbroker. B, R, O, K, E, R. Mitch is a stockbroker.
This is incredible. Tito is a writer, and Mitch is a financial whiz. I wanted to know more about him and his family.
I, W, keep going. No, Mitch, don't bite, don't bite, let go. Thank you. Come here. You can do it, you can calm down. I, W, O, that's good. U, L, D, I would. Yeah, that's good. I would. B, U, Y, I would buy. And what? You can do it, you do it. G, O, G, O, what? O, G, O, O, G, L, E, and Google. Oh, yeah, that's a good, that's good. You can do it. What did you get? Just calm down a minute. What did you get out? Mitch, come here. Come here. Mitch, stop. Mitch. Yeah, you like that you made a holder. Anyway, in the stock contest, I don't think I told you, he was in the top 4%.
He's in the top
He ended in the top 4%, yeah. After 2 months, he had made 23%. He was ahead of all the celebrities and all that. He had a good time. Did you have a good time with it?
So what we're doing when we start out with someone's rapid prompting method with any learner is trying to teach them what to choose and how to choose. And the what to choose is the content of what you're saying. So we want the child to listen to what you're saying. You're using a teach-ask method of you give information and you immediately ask a question back. The how to choose is how they're actually going to pick up an answer to respond. So, and everything you're doing here is competing with the child's needs to STEM. So you're tearing the paper. It's stimulating their auditory. You're ripping it in front of them. You're bringing all their visual interest and their attention right in front of you. So that's why we're side by side. The child's going to be to the right, and the instructor's going to be on the student's right hand, because we want the focus on the table work. We don't want it on the personal interaction. And for many kids, if they have a visual attention with the instructor, they get visually overstimulated. So we don't want them to get overstimulated. We want them to stay focused right here. See, it's imposing the learning on them. So whether they can read at this point or not, they can hear where the answer was. Like they heard that I was, let's say that you're not visually attentive. Let's say that you're looking around. If I tell you that I is over here and eggs is over here, you heard that that was to the left and this was to the right, and then you go for it. That's the way Madison was when she first started. She wasn't looking, but she heard the tapping, and she would go with the sound.
When he first said he loved stocks, I was just amazed. It was like he loves stocks. It was so far out there. It was like, stocks? So, you know, if that's what he wanted, and that made a lot of sense to me. He told me later that the reason why he picked stocks was he felt that was something that he could actually do when he's older, that he could type on a computer, do stocks, you know, do portfolios, and possibly be a market analyst, all from home, and not have to worry about, you know, his problems with socializing and things like that. We wanted to take our son from autism to be a normal, regular child. And this is what we wanted so much. And so we worked on ABA. We did 40 hours a week for over 2 years. And we worked very hard on it. And he did okay. I mean, you know, he came out of his shell, sort of, and was now kind of listening more, and definitely a little bit happier than he was before. But it didn't give him the means for communication. It didn't give him the means to learn very much. And so at that point, we were still just, we were done with learning these things that he could learn, but ABA lacked in the process of, if he's nonverbal, where do you go from there? We saw this 60 Minutes tape with Soma and Tito on it, and we were so excited because I thought, wow, maybe this can be something for my son. Finally, we got an appointment and we came down to see Halo, and it was so wonderful. It was the most wonderful thing that ever happened in our lives. So we came down for 4 days, and I remember Soma just rushes you up the stairs, and she sits him down and starts asking him, so, I just want to find out where you're at. Do you know the months of the year? Let's see. January, February, March, what comes after that? And she puts, you know, December or April down on pieces of paper for him to choose. And I think, there's no way. I'm sorry, he doesn't know his months yet. You know, I wish she'd have talked to me first, because I could have told her that he doesn't know these things. And he picked up April, and I thought, oh, well, then he was getting everything 100%. He was picking the choices 100%. You realize all of a sudden that your son knows so much more than you even knew. And so then the rest of the week, this was the first day. So the rest of the week, I'm just, I had the biggest cell phone bill in the world because I called everybody to tell them.
Mild forms of autism, such as Asperger's syndrome, has always been here. They've always been here. That's not increased. That's just increased diagnosis. Where I think there has been some increase is some of this very severe autism, especially the form of autism where the kid seems to be normal, and then at age 2, they lose their language and they regress.
Daddy.
Hi, Taylor. How are you?
I'm fine.
Are you happy?
Happy and sad.
I don't think you're sad. You're happy.
I'm happy.
Stand way close to the edge. And lean forward. 1, 2, 3, jump! Yay! We're in the deep water. We're in the deep water.
It is one of the most heartbreaking experiences where a parent has a child who's developing normally, and then somewhere between the first and the second year of life, the child loses their skills. It used to be that regression was only something that parents reported, and scientists wondered whether it was actually a true phenomenon, or maybe the parents weren't noticing those early symptoms. So we actually published a study a couple of years ago, and what we did was to study home videotapes of babies that were videotaped in the home at their first and second birthdays. And we found that, in fact, at 1 year of age, that baby did look normal. That baby was babbling and pointing and then lost those skills. So we know this is a real phenomenon.
It was a week or two after Taylor's 3rd birthday, and it was in our kitchen. We were having breakfast one morning. Taylor was just a little bit over 3 years old, and suddenly he looked at me, dropped his spoon to the floor, and started screaming, "My mouth won't say the words, my mouth won't say the words, Daddy, my mouth won't say the words." And I had no idea what was going on. It floored me. I didn't understand it. He'd been a perfectly normal child, and over the next 6 months, all of his language skills essentially evaporated. It is as if your child has been stolen from you.
Taylor Crowe was a completely normal child until the age of 3. Then he lost his ability to speak. He gradually withdrew into the world of autism. Taylor is now 27 years old. He has received many treatments to regain his former abilities. Now he can talk again and has to some extent overcome his autism. Taylor earned the incredible achievement of graduating from the Cal Arts School as an animator.
It is a big mystery. Now, what causes it? We're not sure. Is it some environmental factor? Is it because there's certain brain systems that are coming online at that point and it's being affected? Or it may be that autism just has a variable pattern of onset. If you think about other conditions, such as schizophrenia or even Alzheimer's, it's not uncommon for there to be early onset and late onset. And it may be that in autism we have this same kind of variability in just the way this disorder comes about early on. And it's possible that there are actually different genes involved in early onset versus regressive autism.
Ugh. You know, I just can't get a date to the school prom.
I know. Me neither.
Ugh.
Don't you hate it that we can't get dates to our prom?
Yeah, but I just got my license to drive a spaceship, so let's go pick up chicks that way. Just follow me.
It's about,
couple of girls who cannot get dates to their prom, and a couple of alien boys who are the same way. This is one of those aliens. Well, there are storyboard drawings which are used to sort of plan out what's happening when. And here the camera stops. It goes on these two girls, and then here the girls are, they're sad.
This form of autism is not new. It's been around for centuries. In the 1700s, these children were known as fairy changelings. The parents would say, my little boy went to bed and he woke up a different person. He woke up and he won't look at us anymore, and he's distant and he's aloof and he's totally changed. And in those days, they thought it was possession. They thought the child had been possessed by fairies and that his personality had changed because of that. Now, some people think it's vaccinations. It hasn't been proven. Nobody knows whether it's vaccinations or some other environmental influence. But to some extent or another, this has been going on for centuries. It's much more common now than it used to be, but it's not new.
The whole family went with Keli to meet Soma and see if he might be able to communicate. Even though we had no idea if he could understand his own language, let alone English. He was somewhat familiar with English from life at home. We tried to prepare Keli as best as we could. We were full of anticipation, but more than a little anxious. What if our hopes were shattered? We had already accepted the fact that he would never be able to communicate.
Let's see what we're going to talk about. Everyone is coming. You have a whole entourage following you. Let's see. Slowly we'll come inside this room and we are going to sit on one of those chairs so that the camera can see us well. Because here we are. So that and this timer is going to tell us how long we are going to work. Now, we are going to do things together. Paper, or did I say I take? House, H-O-U-S-E, house. All we have to do is try and show it. Let's take this hand. Did I say paper or house? You can do it. Hold this. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Or we can use this hand and we can do it. Paper or house? You can do it. Get it? We'll do it together. Paper. We're doing it together. P-A-P-E-R, paper. I write, W-R-I-T-E, write, on a paper, P-A-P-E-R, paper. What did I say? Did I say I walk, W-A-L-K, walk on a paper, or W-R-I-T-E, write on a paper? What did I say? Walk or write? You can use this. And slowly you can show on this. Go for it. I walk or write? Let's see, what did we hear? Slowly go with it. We can do it together. We can do it together. We'll say, write. I write on a paper. W-R-I-T-E, right. I write. W-R-I-T-E, write. This is writing. Let's see what is writing. This is writing. W. I wrote we. You and I. We wrote W. I write. I-T-E, write with a pencil. P-E-N-C-I-L, pencil. This is a pencil. What did I say? I write with a pencil. P-E-N-C-I-L, pencil, or a leaf, L-E-A-F, leaf. Pencil? You're doing fine. You're just listening to me. What did I say? I write with a pencil or leaf. You can use this. And you can use this and get it. Go for it. Pencil or leaf. Go for it. Yes, like that, yes. I write with a pencil. I write with a pencil. You and I, we both can write with a pencil. Let's say, you want to do that? This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Show 2. Oh, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Hold that. Yes, that's 2. 4. Let's draw 4. We'll draw 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's touch 4. Let's touch 4. There you go. Yes, there, that's 4. There we are. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 or 8. 4 or 8. Get it? Reach out. Go for it. Good. 8. That's good. You want to show like that? Let's get that. Let's see now. Now we know the arranging of the orders. Now you're going to tell me. Oh, that's good. Let's see. Did I do it 6 times or did I do it 3 times? Did I tap 6 times or 3 times? That's good. That's good. Good. Now, let's talk about a beehive. What did I say? Let me see whether we remember or not. A beehive is made up of, is it made up of wood, W-O-O-D, wood, or wax, W-A-X, wax? What did I say? Wood or wax? Yes, you're right, Wax. So in the beginning, it is just teach and ask. And because the first stage, what I'm doing is teaching him how to choose and what to choose. So that is why I'm giving. A hive is made up of wax. What did I say? So that is what to choose. And how to choose is by shaking the choices using the kinesthetic prompts. Is it made up of wood or wax? So even if he doesn't look, he'll know from the movement. Like that. Yeah, we are doing it. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm just telling. Okay, let's see. Oh, let's see. Wax. Now let's see. Here we are. A bee makes honey. H-O-N-E-Y, honey. What did I say? A bee makes honey. H-O-N-E-Y, honey. Or a bee makes books. B-O-O-K-S, books. Honey or books? Get it? Get it? Yes, a bee makes honey. H-O-N-E-Y, honey.
Everyone has been saying to me he doesn't understand. With a look in their eyes, saying, yes, I know you want what's best for your child, but just be realistic. He has a mental age of a 2-year-old. Don't build up unrealistic expectations. But now you see that everything is possible. These children are in fact prisoners of their own disability, especially in cases like his. He clearly does not process well the information he gets about the environment through his eyes. He relies on his ears and his hearing. Those are the children that are the most difficult to help coping with their autism, except maybe using the RPM. This is a method that works for them.
Well, you know, concerning, we were a bit worried that that he was going to come here in this training that's in a different language than he's used to. And I have to say that considering how things went, especially when she tried to push him further with his understanding of the language and various words, even words that he was just learning newly in English, then it really went just incredibly well, just incredibly well.
Now, in this island, there's a cave. And out of a cave, yesterday I told you about a cave. What did I say? Cave is a hollow in a, let's see, hollow under the table, T-A-B-L-E, table, or in a mountain, M-O-U-N-T-A-I-N, mountain, when we were talking about caves, when we were talking about Ice Age. Table or mountain? Mountain, you're going to eat up all your answers like that? Okay. Let's see. 90 or 900? Come on. Get it? You're looking at it? Sure. Get it? 90 or 900? Who's going to show me? Come on. Get it? 90 or 900? Yes. See, that I just reminded him what to do. So suddenly, like he was having. See, that is called a tactile prompt to initiate his response. I'm not telling him what. That is why the rapid prompting method. It's not. I'm not prompting him the answer. I'm prompting him the initiation. His hands his hands just stopped performing, and so I touched them with the paper as a tactile prompt on his skin so that he remembers what to do. So that's called initiation. So this is a prompting to initiation. If people ask, oh, so rapid prompting, is this prompting the answer? Is she telling her the answer? No, I'm prompting the initiation to answer. If the initiation was there, he wouldn't have autism at all. Because the initiation is not there, that is why he can mentally perform many things, but he can't actually perform it in action like that.
Glad you, A-R-E-R-H-E, H-E-R-E. Glad you're here.
That's nice.
Yeah, actually, I fly into Baltimore quite a bit when I go back. So I work from home.
So this is your yeah, this is the Autism.
Yeah, how old is he?
He's
It'll be fun to have lots of friends. And you can email us, you can tell your mom when you work really hard on the board, you can tell her all the things you want to say. And she could email us a letter saying what you wanted to write to Mitch, and he could email you. What do you think? Does that sound good? Yeah. It'll be fun tomorrow. Yeah, don't be scared, just have fun. Soma is the funniest person I know. She's also the smartest person I know. Let's try money. Good, M? Oops, no, we're doing money. O, M-O-N-E, and Y. Y.
It's often necessary to guide autistic children and to initiate a reaction with a prompt. Their lack of ability to imitate and differentiate means they have to be taught skills that most of us instinctively learn and adopt. The good news is that autistic children can be taught, and most of them have the possibility to break out of their isolation and play a part in society. Keli and Mitch got along very well, and it's truly an incredible thought that Keli might have the potential to make the same progress as Mitch.
Mitch is doing so well.
He is.
He's so independent.
Well, he wasn't. He had given up on everything because I'd given up on him.
Yeah.
And then once you start recognizing him as understanding and being smart, you start teaching them all this, and then they think they have a future.
Okay.
Okay? Oh, okay. Do you know who they are? They are from Iceland, and they are making a documentary on autism. So, there we are. Keep going. I-L-O-O. I look. Come. I look. Get it. Come on. G-R-E. Okay. A. Okay. T. Great. Okay. I look great. I and in. Okay. Get it. I look great in what? C. A. M. Come. E. Okay. Good. Keep going. Not when you do that. R. A. I look great in camera. Not when you're doing that. Okay. I look great in camera. Okay. Now let's see. Play your turn. S. Oh, so. D. Oh, do. I. So do I. Oh, okay. Yeah. So do I. Yes, you're sitting over there seriously. I can see that posing, thinking, like that. Okay? Mike, your turn. R. I. G. H. T. Right. S. I. D. E. My right side. L. O. O. K. S. Looks. Okay. B. E. S. T. My right side looks best. Here. M. My. Okay. F. R. O. N. E. My front side. I. Okay. Is. Okay. B. Okay. E. Okay. T. Okay. E. My front side is better, so that's what is happening. My front side is better. Okay. Go. Look at you. What about you? Any other preference? My front side is better. What about you? Come on. So they have their preference. A. N. Okay. Y. N. S. I. Oh, for you any side. Anyway. Okay. Any side. Any side.
One of the problems we've got with autism and Asperger's is the spectrum is going all the way from famous scientists. In fact, there's a really nice book called Asperger's and Self-Esteem, and it's about famous scientists and musicians that probably were Asperger's. You know, people like Carl Sagan, Mozart, Einstein, Jefferson, President Jefferson. It's like a little bit of this genetics. You can get, cognitive brilliance. You get too much of it, you're going to get somebody that's going to be nonverbal, maybe someone like Tito, that is intelligent, but some that may not be intelligent. It's a whole big spectrum, from very severe to very brilliant. And the lucky ones that are on the brilliant end, they get in with all the other Asperger people, like working for a big computer company.
In Denmark, an IT company is building its business on the special talents of autistic individuals. As in so many other cases, the initiative here comes from a parent with an autistic child.
At Specialisterne, we often discuss what is normality, and the only definition that makes sense to me is that normality is whatever the majority decides it to be. It was very hard to get the company started. Everyone in the business community had seen the film Rain Man, so that was kind of the baseline, and no one would expect much from Rain Man. Specialisterne works for large IT companies, international ones, and leading Danish companies in special areas within the IT sector. There was a need for the skills and the competences of persons with autism. My employees, when they test software, they are persistent. They have the same attention to details, regardless if it's the second, the fifth, the 10th time they're doing the test. And it's very hard for my customers to find others with the same high accuracy and attention to details. And in the autism or social community, they were not used to private companies who claimed that they would like to earn money on persons with a handicap.
The happy Aspergers are the ones that get into good careers, where they can get in with other people that think the way they do. It's sometimes kind of hard for the social people to understand, but you social people, you like all these mobile phones. You like all these, text messaging things and internet things. Well, the Aspergers were the ones that made all those things. You wouldn't have them if it wasn't for Aspergers.
We do have a program in this university for students with Asperger's syndrome. There are 100, and there may be others who are not formally diagnosed, but who have the characteristics. We carried out a different study. What we found is that people who study sciences, but particularly mathematics, physics, engineering, computer science, seem to score higher in terms of autistic traits than those people who are in the humanities.
In fact, I have kind of found that on the autistic spectrum, there seem to be three kinds of minds. There's the visual thinker, like me, who thinks in photorealistic pictures and tends to be bad at things like algebra and foreign language. Then there's the music and math mind. They think in patterns instead of pictures. It's pattern thinking. I mean, think about the chessboard, think about complicated origami. And then there's the verbal thinker that knows all these facts and figures, and they're really bad at drawing. See what happens? Since there's a limited amount of white matter axons to go around and hook everything up, is one department in the brain gets lots of wiring, and something else gets left out. And the part that usually gets left out is the social part. And this is where you get into the really smart Aspergers.
Vernon Smith is a Harvard PhD and a professor at Chapman University. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics in 2002 and has authored and co-authored over 250 books and articles. Vernon diagnosed himself as having many traits of an Asperger.
Well, in my work, I tend to focus very intently. It's hard to describe, but I've become completely absorbed in the thought processes of what I'm doing. And I can just not be available. That is in the sense that I don't know what's going on around me. And being distracted, I find mentally costly in the sense that when I am distracted, it takes me quite a while to get back into that frame where I went, where I found myself.
He was really caught by the autism studies of Simon Baron-Cohen, and then he reads quite frequently articles about autism. And when he had the opportunity to take a test that identified empathy, he said, I failed so miserably that led him into the word Asperger's syndrome as it applied to himself. And it's been wonderful to discover a language to talk about my husband with him. Here's a story. I was in the kitchen and I was upset with him and I was crying. And he was cooking and he didn't even notice, and I said, can't you see that I'm crying? And he looked at me, he said no, and he came up to me, he touched my face, and he said, darling, these are tears. I said, Vernon, I said I'm crying. And he said, oh, why? And then he listened to me and he said, I'm just sorry, did I do something? And it was shocking.
I often get asked if I could snap my fingers, would I want to not be autistic? No, I wouldn't, because autism is what I am. I like my clarity of thought. Where there's other people where I think a few more emotional circuits are hooked up, where they hate being autistic because they want to be more social. I'm content to be pure geek, techie, and I get social interaction through shared interests. Shared interests is what makes my social world go along. It's not, social chit-chat. I've often wondered, what would a totally normal brain be like? It might be really boring.
After the first trip to Austin, we were so incredibly proud of our little guy. There was a total change of attitude at home. Before, we used to talk about Keli in front of him, but now we talk to him. It's been 6 months since Keli first came to Soma. The aim of the second trip was to have Keli begin spelling and using a letterboard. No words can describe how wonderful it is to see him start communicating on his own instead of being imprisoned by his autism. And now finally, after more than 10 years, I can start to get to know my child.
4 times 10 is 14 or 40? Sure. Hold that. 40 would be good. In 40, we have to do a little work from this side to that side. But we can always practice. No harm practicing. On that, we are not going to hesitate like that. Let's see. On that. Get it? I know you're trying your best because this corner is difficult sometimes. 4, you got it. And now, I don't think 0 would be that difficult. Move your elbows. There. See, when we work, when we point accurately, all these joints, you have a joint over here, you have a joint over here, you have a joint over here. This and this, 5 joints have to work so that you may aim accurately, and that is why a lot of practice needs to be done like that. Because just thinking and knowing is not enough. We have to show what we know, because that is what, otherwise what would happen? People won't understand us. So you have to know and then show what you know. That is it. With a child with autism, they can't screen out. For example, I can screen out the sound of a car and I can still proceed. Whereas with a child with autism, all the different smells and sights and everything are coming with equal intensity. And the screening process is not there. And because that is not there, the overwhelming sense comes. And that is why they try to self-stimulate themselves as a defense mechanism to shut out the external stimulation that are overwhelming their neurons, their nerves, and they start self-stimulating to calm themselves down. Come on. C-A, and can, okay? Can, okay? Keep going. I, okay? Can I? Can I? Okay? Okay? L, okay? L, keep going. On that. L, E, okay? L-E. Good. Keep going. L-E, get it. A, okay? L-E-A, good. Come on. R, good. Keep going. And can I learn? Okay. What would you like to learn? L-E-A-R-N, learn. P, okay. P, good, keep going. I, okay. P-I, good. Keep going. P-I, P-I. P-I-B doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's try on this. P-I, sure. P-I, keep going. A, okay, P-I-A. That would be a good idea. Come on, keep going. N, good, keep going. P-I-A-N, keep going. On that, lift your elbows up, keep going. Oh, piano. I think you can, because just like letterboard, you have the positions. In piano also you have the positions. And if you can memorize the position over here, you can memorize a position. Piano, just like you are touching the letterboard things, I think the piano, it can be yeah, that would be funny, right? That would be fun. Piano. Like that. On that. I, okay? I, here. M, Okay, wait. I know you're getting stressed out. M, good, keep going. A, good, keep going, hold it. I, map. M-A-P, map. Oh, is it M-A-P or K? Okay, wait. M-A-P or M-A-K? Let me see. Come on, let's see. Okay, M-A-K, good, let's finish that word. M-A-K, good, lift your elbows up. I make, yes, like that. Make, okay. S, okay. Good, keep going. S, keep going. O, okay. Keep going. N, okay. Good. S-O-N. Keep going. S-O-N. Hold that. G, okay. Oh, in your mind you make songs. Okay, that. You want to let off? S-O-N-G. Songs. I make songs. So you make different kinds of music in your mind, and then you would like to bring them out on piano. That would be a good thing. Yeah. I make songs. If they are too involved in a lesson, they tend to turn mono-channeled. Either it would be seeing or hearing, and they'll try to involve that channel which is more stronger, which is picking up more sensory stuff to learn. So Keli is basically an auditory person. He's taking so much time to actually focus on the letterboard. But he's getting used to it. Once he gets used to it, we are working towards it. It's not that it's never going to happen. It is going to happen. Things get better and better, and slowly they'll work parallelly. Your songs have words in them? Does it? Keep going. Keep going. N. Good, keep going. N. Keep going. Oh, no. So it's just a kind of tune. Okay, so you make... It's just... So they don't have words, but it's just tunes. Yeah, I can see you doing that. You can compose those tunes so that someone else can play for you. I don't see it not being possible, but you have to learn all those different, how to write the notes and all those different things of the songs. Like that. Keep going. Come on, let's see. Come on, let's see. Sure? Now, why are we getting emotional over here? Come on, let's see. Okay? Keep going. Keep going. A, good. B-E-G-A, good. Keep going. N, began. I began. Okay, finish this. Okay? W, good. Keep going. Get it. W, H, good. Keep going. Keep going. E, good. Keep going. And when, okay? When I, good. Keep going. When I, good. Keep going. You can do it. When I, W, good. Keep going. I'll take that as A because you're going over there. We don't have much time. Come on. When I was, okay? Keep going. S, okay? Good. Keep going. S, good. Like making those little tunes in your mind. M, good. Keep going. A, good. Keep going. Get it. S-M-A, L, good. Keep going. S-M-A, L, good. L. I began when I was small. Oh, okay. Making tunes. That would be interesting. I began when I was small. Now you can go. Wait. Let's see. There we are. Oh, of course, I think Keli would be able to communicate. It will go from word level to sentence level, sentence level to paragraph level, and slowly he'll start talking about his emotions and feelings. And sure, I'm very hopeful. He's able to think like any other boy, his age level. So he's able to learn, he's able to think, he's able to hope, aspire, and do all those things. What we have to do is educate him so that he becomes aware of what he's capable of doing and live according to his capabilities.